This is Krazy, aka One Last I Said It, and I'm just going to be playing some Her Story. Let's check it out. Search term murder. Okay, cornerstone, random numbers, partial. You are logged in. Authentication, guest. Enter query to access archived footage. Logic database. Clip stored in user session. 232 megabytes local storage used. Wow, this is like ancient. Ooh, here's a readme. Computer tech is the backbone of modern police work. The Logic database is one of the many continuing efforts to digitize our workflow and preserve evidence in a manner which will allow you to work more efficiently. In the coming years, the computer will continue to be the most valuable item in your crime-fighting toolkit. The readme has a missing word in the first paragraph. Well, whatever. This database contains footage transferred from the existing homicide and serious crime tape archive at Portsmouth. It has been automatically sorted using our ASR technology. Each statement made by the interview participants is stored separately so they can be tagged for submission to court. The audio has been digitally stenographed, and the content of the testimony is attached to each clip. To retrieve a clip, type in a word, e.g. robbery, into the search field. Click search, and the database will return all clips in which the speaker uses that word. To narrow a search, use multiple words, e.g. robbery supermarket. If you are working from a printed transcript, you can be even more precise, use inverted commas to search for an exact match against the entire statement. Yes, I was there. To store a clip for later reference, click add to session. Also, if you wish to add additional tags of your own to help future searches, please click in the user tags box and type in your desired tags. For any further assistance, please contact your department's IT rep. Okay. Really read me. Hey, here's the database. I filed a Freedom of Information form to get you guest access. Everything seems to work. They transferred the videos off the original tapes in 1999, and then the Y2K thing hit, and we got mothballed. No one has touched them since. I couldn't find the server with the detectives' footage on. Possibly those tapes got damaged when the old archives were flooded in '97, but figured this would be enough. Take your time. Rubbish bin. It's Othello. This is mirror tiles. Mirror tiles, it looks like Othello. So if you decide to get bored of the main game, you can play some Othello. Interesting. I'm guessing log off actually logs you off, so I'm not going to do that right now. So, let me just grab some water, and I'll be right back. I seem to have a fair amount of reading so far, so if I'm going to be reading a lot, then I would like to have some water. Okay, let's see what we get. Play.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
That's an odd hoop. Why would you ever have just an 11-second clip? It's of a waste. So this is... help. Okay.
Yeah, that's me. But February, I mean, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
So this is 10794. 270694. Oh, so this is a few days after, not too long after. This is 30794. Okay.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
Okay. Niall. I don't know why I'm adding tags yet. Just figure why not.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
Okay. Lawyer. Denial. Stories. Let's try Simon. So here we are back on 1806-94. Seems earlier. I think I should be adding dates as a tag.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows, artistic things. Really beautiful things.
I'm just going to play it again.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows, artistic things. Really beautiful things.
So she's speaking of him in the present tense here. That's weird. Simon Smith. Ernst Glass. Okay.
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. They said a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have.
So so she was speaking of him in the present tense before, and here it's implied that she's actually going to the police to find him, that he's missing. Blonde, average build, that's not helpful. So this is 1806. This is 1806, right? So this is before he's ruled murder, right? So if we go back to murder, this is 2706. So 9 days later. Okay. So it takes a week to go from missing to murder.
It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks. It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
Peter and Rock. Okay.
Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing.
I have no idea. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't think playing it will help me understand, so. Whoa.
Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next?
So she suggests an accident. Okay. Well, let's go for the Rock.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come and see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
Okay. Eric and Saturday. So... What is this? 2506. 1806. So this is before it's ruled as a murder, this one.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong.
Maybe you should go back to the job.
No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone knew from the Rock.
Plumber. Does it come up again? No. No one knows anything about this plumber. Should I do Saturday or job? Let's try job.
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
Okay.
I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us. There's always been pressure.
She said Doug, right? We got Doug, Eric, some other guy.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
Problem is here is that since we only have her footage, it's like generally your thought is, oh, you know, she did it because we're not going to have interviews with anyone else. We don't have any other suspects because we don't have footage of anyone else in a way. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter what we say about Eric because we're never going to be satisfied. It's not like, you know, what.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
So Hannah is Simon's former wife. Oh no. Does that just quit the game? Oh, okay. I thought, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any way to indicate conclusion, right? How do you ever reach the end of this game? Cyber Ghost. No. Oh, we got 11 entries from Mirror.
My name is Hannah. Hannah. It's a palindrome.
What?
It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work from Eric though, it's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea.
Wait, her
Sorry.
name is Hannah?
Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Oh, so is the implication then that she's like schizophrenic? And that maybe Hannah and Eric, and I mean, maybe there's only two people in this story altogether. I don't know.
It wasn't the present so much, it was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since.
What? Okay.
Silver leaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Antique. That's the only one.
What are you doing talking about Eve? Poor Simon.
Mars? I wish I knew Morse code, man. Is this game gonna make me Google Morse code? Dot Eve. Okay, I have Googled what she tapped and it is not all that significant. I know that's kind of cheating, but I don't know.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
What? Okay. So we got a polygraph test here. Yeah, Eve.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Whoa, the screen's flashing. Is the implication now that we are Hannah slash maybe Eve?
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place. Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, the dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
So... Okay, it's either twins or schizophrenia.
Yes. I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play out there and make up our own stories. Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
So there's something about her hairs.
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
Did I do Eve already? Let's go back here.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes. Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We were made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship. A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off, I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off. My mother called me Eve.
Yeah, and there we go. So, are we supposed to decide whether they are two different people or whether she's just schizophrenic? I mean, it's clearly the same actress. I don't know whether in game we're supposed to go with one or the other, or how important it is. So we have the Hannah interviews, the Eve interviews, which are like a week later. Meta.
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street. No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. It helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page. Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Is the implication that Florence took title of game in this clip? Okay. So the title of the game refers to Florence. That's cool.
It just became our way of life. We would swap places and take it in turns to do things. And we were very careful. Whoever had been out that day would come back and write a detailed diary so that we were on the same page. We had a list of rules that said what we could and couldn't do in any given situation. It was exhaustive. We lived a second life through those rules. Rules for things that could only ever happen inside our imaginations. We would consider all the permutations of future events and agree rules to walk our way through them.
Interesting. But how... Okay. Florence.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Uh-oh. They're coming for me.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me. No, it was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it, and I'm going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Yeah, I mean, last week would be when the other girl was in, I guess. Let's check rules.
Okay, she's being chased. They're trying to catch her because she did something bad. I guess she broke the rules. Or maybe they think she did something bad. Maybe it wasn't her fault. She looks scared, not guilty. Maybe it was mistaken identity. Did they catch her there? I don't know. Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had the one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me. But that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
The flashing lights stopped. What the hell? Are we now Hannah rather than Eve?
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but everything was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird, in a way it hadn't been before.
Carl, that was a new name, right?
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15. No, I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. Stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family. Family. So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon. Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Weird. Polygraph. What? I mean, there was a polygraph. Is there a way to see the... Okay, whatever, we'll start with this one.
Yes. I'll take a lie detector test.
A lie detector test, not fine, lie detector test.
I've never taken a lie detector test before. Does it really work?
Well, I can get the date at least. Maybe the date will work.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
So they were interviewing this girl for like a while. Oh no, that's not gonna say that. Okay. Did I ever do this one?
I've never taken a lie detector test before.
Oh. Yes.
Does it really work? My name. That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works. I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name. Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells. Like you said, it was very romantic. No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know, He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not books so much, or watching TV. He likes TV. Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Achievement unlocked, I guess. Okay.
So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist.
Sure you do.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, well, that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
The other woman is your twin lover. This is like... Alright, let's go back to the line and see what the date was. Maybe I can get, what was this? 3:07. Can we try... 3:07. No. How do I find the... I want to find more of this lie detector test, if I can.
I've never taken a lie detector test before. Does it really work? What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him. I mean, what if they were crazy? You hear about these crazy people all the time. I mean, why would anyone who knew Simon want to kill him? Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
That's a pretty serious accusation. So 307. Huh.
He was wearing a shirt, it's a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch, it's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, like Paddington Bear. He would have taken that with him, it's not in the house. Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked on the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back. Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Well, Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane? Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there. Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then. Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel? Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane. You want me to play something? Well, I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. Okay. Probably needs tuning. No, it's okay. How about a traditional ballad? Should be right up your street. There were two sisters came walking by the sea. Oh, the wind and the rain. The eldest one pushed the other one in. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. See, they both had a love for the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. But he only cared for the youngest one. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Oh, the eldest envied her sister fair. Oh, the wind and the rain. With a pretty little face and a long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. So she pushed her in and held her down. Oh, the wind and the rain. Watched her as she slowly drowned. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Oh, she floated up and she floated down. Oh, the wind and the rain. Floated till a ship came by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Out comes the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. Father dear, here swims and swan. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And then it gets really weird, so I think that's a good place to stop.
Nice.
No, Simon didn't play guitar. He wasn't very musical. He liked to listen, but he was tone deaf. Yes. Yeah, it's my guitar. Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again? No cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino. It was this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it. I think so. I mean, to get into our garden, we'd have to climb through other gardens. All the gardens back onto each other, so you'd have to climb over 1, 2, 3 gardens to get to ours. I mean, did anyone see anything? Did anyone see anyone come and go? An intruder?
Nope.
Yes, this is it. He made it himself. It was a special one-off. He made it and decorated it. That's his thing. Where did you find it? body. It didn't look real. And his throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. He has these thick glasses. He doesn't always wear. On his throat. How? Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood. He was dead.
Uh-oh. They're coming again. That's weird. Because there was the flashing lights before, but then I think I kind of went back. Oh, let's try glasses.
Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it by hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror and he gave it to me.
Oh.
Black coffee, thanks. No sugar. I'm sweet enough as it is. A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. Oh, it's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle. A cup of tea would be good, thanks. Just 1 sugar. Just the 1 sugar. Thanks. Is that kind of recording? Black, no sugar. Thanks.
So it's like this is the best quick reference for which is which.
Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
How about tea?
Could I have a cup of tea? Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in, Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly in the living room, nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough? Maybe a fresh cup of tea?
So one is right-handed, one is left-handed? It's funny.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
It's pretty rehearsed. They have it down so like verbatim, blow by blow.
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them.
One second, I gotta check something. or Doug?
I hoover, I dust every week, maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust, and she said, if people asked, tell them you do it once a week, but every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day, ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front. She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage, and she still has a secret like that.
I feel like there was a lead there somewhere, but I...
1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring, and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It's just awful.
We had... Let's go back to baby. Oh, interesting.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday. We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope. No, I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after. It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff we never needed, and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
Oh, okay, so... I keep losing track of whether the red shirt is Eve or Hannah. Okay.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it. The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body. Really? Okay. Here's the rest. Oh, they laid a body on the dock to dry. Oh, the wind and the rain, till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Anything you sing may be used as evidence against you.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's just demonstrating which is the dominant hand, right? Which would be the left here, but,
Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different.
so the long hair is definitely always the, I could always just go back to the, what was it, the tea, or is it, sugar?
Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
So that would be Eve. Wait, this is Eve, right?
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar. Sweet enough as it is.
Oh, so it's, no, sometimes it's hard to keep these two straight.
Just the one sugar. Thanks.
But this is Hannah.
Is that kind of recording? Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
So that's Hannah. And this is Eve. So Eve is the one that brings it to the police the first time?
No sugar. Sweet enough as it is.
So confusing. Oh, I haven't even done cough. Okay, let's do this.
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then headed back. About 8 years back, it was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up. I think they say you can have 1 cup.
Wait, what?
No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water. No. The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen, you can probably check that. We never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need. Dad used to grow mushrooms there. The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape, but I think it was ours. When will the police let me back in the house? And they let me take a bag of clothes with me, but
The mirror had silver on it, right? Already seen all those. Yeah, that's where she says the mirror was unique. So Eve accuses Hannah of doing the murder. Then Eve pretends to be Hannah to report him missing. It's so confusing. I still think I'm missing some of the polygraph test.
her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
So if I add this to session, I don't really know what that accomplishes, but that's a good reference point.
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep. No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning. When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving licence on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
That's confusing though, because the defense of one of them is that they were in Glasgow when he was supposed to have gone missing. But Hannah's the bad driver, so she's the one that hit the taxi. So Hannah was in Glasgow. So it would seem to imply that Eve was the killer, but we don't really have a motive for Eve because... Well, I mean, maybe... No, I guess maybe we have a motive for Eve since... I don't know, because it seems like Eve had a relationship with Simon. That Simon was going to break up with Hannah. Maybe, or at least this is Eve's version of why Hannah would kill him, right? That they were married, they had a kid. I really should have been keeping better notes. At some point I kind of stopped taking notes or using so many tags, which were kind of my own form of notes. So, but I mean, it seems probable that the person that was in Glasgow when Simon went missing was Hannah. And if that's when Simon died, then that would seem to suggest it has to be Eve, regardless of motive. Right?
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. And when I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And I... Excuse me. Is there a bin?
Okay, so she came back. She was back in town on Saturday. I thought that's when he was supposed to go missing.
It was late. Early Saturday morning. Well, a week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Oh, okay. So I only can type yes or no, I think. Oh, interesting. So, so you can type yes or no. SB. So now I can pull up chit chat basically whenever. Interesting.
I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car. Yeah, I pulled over and slept in the car. This was just by the side of the road. I was exhausted. No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but I'm not sure what else he said.
Helen.
He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
Let's come back to this argument stuff. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay.
His married couple stuff. A stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push your buttons better than those you're close to. No. I mean, yes, we have arguments, but no, he never runs off. He always comes back. We make up. It's always that way. Yes. He left after the argument. It was about 8 o'clock. I think when I drove back it was about 8 or something. And I got back to the house about 3. I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Oh, okay, so Eve was also pregnant?
I got pregnant.
This
Both
is
our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the
Helen. Or
room.
Hannah, whatever.
And they decided we should get married. Yes, I'm fine.
This is...
I won't be sick again. This happens some days. I'm pregnant. It's morning sickness.
This is Eve. Right?
No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Are the lights supposed to tell us? It's... I didn't think that... So... The image of the person in the computer screen flashes... Why? Is it... That's weird.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. But she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Interesting. Not sure. Well, I'll just do the chit chat to maybe think about ending the game. Okay, so. Oh, there was something I was gonna search for, and I just. A birthday. That was right.
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that.
This is Hannah.
It was my birthday, like you said. We were going to have a meal at home. We had our meal. He gave me his present. I guess I didn't like the present. From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up, and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake, children sang me happy birthday. Then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway, and Simon gave me his present, which I didn't mind. And after that, we talked about the baby. It turned into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
So Eve got into an argument about the baby, and he wanted to stay with Hannah, I guess. Alright, well, let's see. I don't know that anything's gonna change my view that it has to be Eve. You think you understand why your mother did what she did, well... No, I mean, the mother made no sense whatsoever. That decision was totally crazy. Sarah. So, we're Eve's daughter? Okay. So we're trying to understand why Eve killed our father. I think that's... So we're Sarah. Basically, the game is over when you decide it's over. Which is... That's funky. That's a cool game. I like it. It makes you want to discuss it afterward. Makes you want to think about it a little bit. I think I never quite got straight. I should have been a lot more consistent from the beginning in terms of which person was which, because I kept getting confused. I feel like I want to go through this game again at some point and just figure out decisively which speaker is speaking at any given time, and then understand the story knowing which speaker I'm looking at, because I got so confused so many times. It gives you cheats at the end. That's funny. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to stop for now. But I feel like I understand the game. And if I don't understand the game, then I'm wrong. Right? There's no real way to know whether you're wrong in the game within the game itself, right? Oh, I guess, well, I told SB no when I was chatting with him whether I understood why my mother did what she did. And now that I know I'm Sarah, I would go back and say yes. I thought I was either Hannah or Eve. I never figured out whether I was Hannah or Eve. And so I thought it was asking whether I knew why my mother separated me from the twin sister. But now that I know I'm Sarah in the game, trying to understand why my mother killed my father, I would say yes. Because my father was very greedy. Simon was such a player. Oh, that glass mirror making player. You can't be a player hater. You just can't be a player hater. Alright, well, thanks for watching. If you did like this stream, do think about giving it a follow. I do export everything to YouTube, so go ahead and check that out as well. Alright.